2018 Volkswagen Golf SV Review. The good points of Volkswagen Golf SV. Practical. Easy drive and automobile. Comfortable. Not an SUV. The bad points of Volkswagen Golf SV. Not thrilling. Bigger than Golf hatch. No hybrid model. Not an SUV. Few cars highlight the gap in car culture between UK and Europe, just like the VW Golf SV, a minimum that's sold far as well in Germany than here because it was launched. It rivals small MPVs much like the Ford Ka-Max and Citroën C4 Picasso, using a flexible rear seating setup and enormous boot, which should make it more desirable to families as opposed to considerably more popular Nissan Qashqai. A 5-door hatchback that can the immensely successful VW Golf and adds practicality, interior space and ride comfort. It's confusing what's never to like. What engines does the VW Golf SV consist of? Following a facelift in 2017, the engine lineup was revamped, which has a choice of 1.0 and 1.5-liter petrols and 1.6 and a couple of 0.0-liter diesels. Power output: SAD entry 85 horsepower petrol to the peak 150 horsepower petrol or diesel. The previous is a 3-cylinder unit while all options turbocharged. There's a wide range of 5 and 6-speed manual gearboxes plus 6 and 7-speed DSG autos, too, determined by engine torque, aside from the 85 horsepower unit, and that is manual only. VW says the very best seller would be the 1.5-liter TSI with 130 horsepower and DSG insane aftrim, as well as the same configuration that has a manual box. These two alone could make up 50% of all sales. Such would be the suitability on this particular engine to your Golf SV. Does it consist of lots of equipment? It's difficult to say in the meantime because the full UK spec to the facelifted car hasn't been released yet, but models until the 2017 model year came using a similar number of equipment towards the standard Golf. Facelifted cars get new bumpers front and back plus standard LED rear lights and also a different headlight layout with optional LEDs. The radar sensor to the now standard autonomous braking is moved behind the VW badge, and new, larger infotainment screens from your Golf hatch find their way to the cabin. Is it very practical? Yes. Somewhat more so than the usual Golf hatchback on account of an extra 50 mm in side wheelbase, although not so much to be a boxy 7-seat Touran. It has more headroom and rear legroom than their hatch and estate, along with a boot that fits relating to the two. The rear bench slides forwards and backwards, in addition to the seat back tilt, so rear passengers may find it easy indeed to acquire comfortable. The verdict. The Golf Sports Van is just about the most flexible and spacious hatchbacks around. With its elevated seating position plus a rear seating system with longitudinal adjustment, the Sports Van offers interior properties which might be otherwise usually found only within a traditional MPV. As a consequence, this Golf appeals to drivers that like to sit a better view, who travel with children, who desire flexibility with regards to leisure activities, and who value a concise Volkswagen which offers a lot of stowage space. Decent petrol and diesel range but no hybrid. Blue Motion model dropped from 2017 facelift. New 1.5-liter petrol is smooth, punchy and quiet. There are 6 engine outputs available with 4 petrols as well as diesels starting from 85 horsepower to 150 horsepower. All but the bed's base 1.0-liter motor have a number of manual or automatic gearboxes, for those times you want a DSG are well catered for. Petrol engines. Kicking things off may be the entry-level 1.0-liter TSI with 85 horsepower from 5.0 revolutions per minute accessible in S-trim, which has a 5-speed manual gearbox only. This offers up 175 Nm from 2000 revolutions per minute and is also unlikely becoming a particularly exciting power plant that's reflected to use 0.62 miles per hour use of 13 seconds and 110 miles per hour top speed. More like it would be the punchier 110 horsepower version of precisely the same engine, a 3-cylinder unit, incidentally, which doesn't announce its piston count particularly vocally if you don't really hammer it, even if you need 5000 revolutions per minute optimum power. There's a swell from your turbo in the midst of the rev range. In places you'll find 200 Nm of torque from 2000 revolutions per minute, and a collection of 6-speed manual or 7-speed auto gearboxes. This car takes 10.7 seconds for getting to 62 miles per hour at tops out at 119 miles per hour, offering precisely the same transmission choice could be the 1.5-liter Evo TSI with 130 horsepower from 5000 revolutions per minute and is particularly realistically the many power your Golf SV needs, taking just 9.6 seconds for getting from 0.62 miles per hour. This engine is way smoother and quieter versus the 1.0-liter, and while it produces exactly the same 200 Nm of torque, it's more watchily at lower 1400 revolutions per minute revs. Top speed we have found 125 miles per hour. Topping the balance in terms of petrol power may be the 150 horsepower version of the identical engine, using a burlier 250 Nm of torque, from 5000 revolutions per minute and 1500 revolutions per minute respectively. This boosted figure means you have the stronger 6-speed auto box or even a manual with a similar number of ratios, and the selection of GT trim only. It's faster too with 0.62 miles per hour taking 8.8 seconds and the very best speed is 132 miles per hour, diesel engines. These won't arrive inside the UK until 2018 when we'll be among the first to acquire behind the wheel, that has a 1.6-liter, 115 horsepower unit and also a 2.0-liter 150 horsepower engine, featuring 5-speed manual and 7-speed auto or 6-speed manual and 6-speed auto gearboxes respectively. The latter has proved impressive in larger VW vehicles like the Touran and Tiggan because of its higher torque output, so we reckon this could be a great engine in case you regularly fill the auto and boot to max capacity. Similar driving experience to some Golf hatchback. A extra body lean and slower controls though. Dynamic chassis control provides a sportier edge. Like anything else based on VW's own size-fits-all chassis called MQB by engineers, how the Golf SV drives is spookily similar to your Golf hatchback, so body movements are controlled as the steering is nicely weighted and accurate although numb, assisting you to place the auto where you are interested on the road. The extra height, width and wheelbase means the SV's responses are slightly softened compared for the sharper hatchback, but there's still a lot of front-end grip, the SV using precisely the same electronic XDS differential to increase traction through the front axle by having a bend through the tighter corners, possibly at speeds you wouldn't dare travel at with children up to speed. It can push wide and to lean over more, but it's never unsafe as well as particularly unruly. Tailor your knowledge about performance options. Dynamic chassis control, which alters the responses in the suspension, can be acquired, but our experience with the Golf hatchback suggests that ought to your car to be kitted out so you'll rarely notice its loss. A drive select system with comfort, eco, sport and individual, allowing users to tailor all responses modes to the steering, engine and, where fitted, automatic gearbox responses is accessible on higher spec cars. Regardless of preference, the steering isn't laden with feel and feedback, but it's more than suitable for a family car on this type. Dashboard design looks comparable to Golf hatchback. Cars from 2017 feature larger infotainment screens. High driving position offers commanding view out. The cabin on the Golf SV will probably be like a home in your own home to anyone who's been in a very Golf hatchback, with switchgear, instruments and plastics shared across both cars. That's the good thing though, because it means the driving force is in the middle of high-quality materials, clear and straightforward to watch instruments plus easy to operate yet robust switchgear. It's not exactly the same though. The SV incorporates a slightly different dashboard to your hatchback, which can be higher up and features instruments along with the infotainment screen within a more prominent position, causing them to be very clear and to see and reach. New infotainment screen for 2017. We particularly much like the touchscreen infotainment system, upgraded for 2017 by having an 8.0-inch standard unit and also the superbly crisp 9.2-inch optional Discover Pro sedan system. Both feature outstanding proximity sensor touch system. Menus and controls are hidden until your hand is at the screen, but annoyingly just the smaller screen includes a physical volume knob with a stereo. Elsewhere there's a soft touch dashboard, a range of inlays and sculpted 3-spoke leader, all offering an air of quality. While this is really a taller car, the driving position although higher is much like the hatchback, rendering it more rewarding and much less taxing to operate the vehicle. Supremely comfortable ride irrespective of wheel size. Only improved with the optional adaptive dampers. Quiet, spacious cabin with little petrol engine interruption. Volkswagen Golf SV comfort is cared for by a considerable, spacious and airy feeling interior. The front seats include a good amount of adjustment, plus the driver's seat could be specified with extra padding as well as a massage function, called Ergo Active. There's even adjustment to the rear bench, which could slide fore and aft across a variety of 180 mm, meaning you are able to prioritize boot or legroom. To the latter plus the SV becomes positively sumptuous, with sufficient legroom for adults to loosen up behind others, together with the option to recline the backrest angle likewise. We reckon the guts rear seat can be a little narrow for much more generously proportioned adults though. Remember those sat 3 throughout the rear bench must be well acquainted, at least they will likely be by the end in the journey. Quiet engines and cushy suspension. New for 2017 are a handful of updated petrol engines, an easy and occasionally silent 1.5-liter unit plus a surprisingly hushed 1.0-liter 3-cylinder. Both you have to be vocal at higher revs, but when you resign yourself to wafting around with a relaxed pace you'll barely hear either. We haven't tried the diesel lineup yet but would expect those motors becoming a bit more present. The firm's adaptive chassis is surely an option, and for that reason fitted the Golf SV rides beautifully, though we'd wager few is going to take advantage on the slightly firmer sport mode. Even without the adaptive suspension the Golf SV rides wonderfully, with supple responses to road surface changes and customarily excellent body control to abate seasickness. There's little wind or engine noise making its way into your cabin either, irrespective of speed, without matter what size wheels were about the cars we drove road noise was kept with a minimum too. In fact the Golf SV was generally a refined and comfy companion. Full UK spec for 2017 car still being finalized. 4 trim levels called S, say, Nav and GT. Blue Motion Eco trim dropped with 2017 facelift. We'll need to wait for the full UK spec for that facelifted car, but it's likely to be a comparable offering for the current model, albeit through an upgraded infotainment screen. Trim levels are known as S, say, say Nav and GT. There's no Blue Motion car anymore because it was dropped from the 2017 facelift. Standard Volkswagen Golf SV equipment. Kicking things off would be the entry-level S-Trim, which comes with Bluetooth connectivity, DAB radio, 8.0-inch touchscreen control, aircon, XDS electronic differential. Upgrade to a same model and you'll make use of these additions. Adaptive cruise control, 16-inch alloy wheels, body-colored door handles and mirrors, air vents and tables for rear passengers, leather tire and gear lever, automatic lights and wipers, drive modes. Say Nav spec adds the Discover Nav system, while top-from-the-line GT completes the range together with the following: 17-inch alloy wheels, sport suspension, tinted rear windows, electric mirrors, front and rear parking sensors, Alcantara and cloth seats. Optional VW Golf SV accessories. Again, we'll uncover more about the facelifted car once the full UK spec is released, but currently you are able to get a slightly bewildering set of options and accessories. There's anything from a heated leader to 18-inch alloy wheels, plus such things as dynamic chassis control, a deluxe climate windscreen, a massaging ergo-active driver's seat, keyless access, reversing camera, leather seats along with an upgraded music system called Dynaudio Excite. Golf SV enjoys a 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Facelifted cars make use of autonomous braking. Options including traffic jam and emergency assist. Like the Golf hatchback, what is the best? It's spaced. Safety levels with the Golf SV are high, scoring 5 stars when tested from the experts at Euro NCAP. We'll uncover more when the full UK spec with the facelifted car is released, but previously the Golf SV featured automatic post-collision braking and pre-crash as standard, plus optional lane assist and light-away assist too. Cars from 2017 on totally have 2 autonomous braking systems fitted as standard. Front assist avoids cars while pedestrian monitoring spots people, plus there are lots of optional assistance systems. These include traffic jam assist, emergency assist. This jolts the brakes to wake a sleeping driver and will slow the automobile to a stop, plus park assist 3.0 and trailer assist. How many ICE-fix seats can I fit in the VW Golf SV? Unlike the more expensive VW Touran, the Golf SV offers 2 ICE-fix points through the rear bench, but they're just like easy to locate on account of similar molded plastic tunnels from the seatback that move the child seat into place, and protect your upholstery. Vast cabin offers great head and legroom than other Golf models. Clever packaging means the SV is shorter versus the Estate. Boot space ranges from 5,001,520 liters according to seat layout. Interior space is what the Golf SV is centered on, and that means a big and airy cabin with ample leg and headroom around. The SV has an additional 50 mm between your wheels, so there's enough room within the back to get a 6-foot+ adult, even behind a similarly sized driver. There's enough headroom from the rear middle and simply a small transmission tunnel to straddle. Nevertheless, the seat itself is narrower versus the outer pair, so best access be your thinnest occupant. The rear bench also sits 619 mm started, that is higher compared to the hatchback's 535 mm. That's something elderly passengers will appreciate, and in addition it means loading a child seat is a smaller back-breaking affair. Finally, the spine bench offers greater flexibility than any Golf, since it can be slid forwards and backwards by approximately 180 mm according to whether you wish more passenger or luggage space. As you'd suppose, the Golf SV is longer compared to the hatchback but shorter compared to the Estate, offering an equilibrium of compact dimensions and practicality, instead of excelling in a choice of area. That includes it'll be simple to park though, particularly in the event you select the Park Assist option. This tech is now in their third generation, which enables it to drive the vehicle in and out of bay or parallel spaces. Usefully for parents using a buggy to load and unload or other people who needs regular access towards the boot, it can also park your vehicle nosing to your bay likewise. Not only will be the Golf SV's boot 120 liters larger compared to standard car, it's more flexible too, as a result of a rear bench that will slide forwards and backwards by 180 mm to enhance luggage space or passenger space. The seats slide using a 60 hours 40 minutes split but collapse form of individually as a result of a curiosity in how chairs are arranged. The only seat that will be folded by itself would be the left one, which takes the center with it. You can fold the proper or middle one by itself inside a kind of halfway house relating to the Golf hatchbacks 2 and also the Terran's 3 individual seats. That means the load space might be expanded from 500 to 590 liters by sliding the seats, whilst the full 1,520 liters is unlocked by folding them flat. That's 250 over hatchback and 140 under Estate. To get the maximum boot space, you should move the variable height floor down 133 mm to its lowest setting, sacrificing the relatively flat load space. A folding front passenger seat emerges as a solution to allow longer items measuring approximately 2,484 mm to get transported.